Hey, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It is not so bright and early anymore. It's 3 p.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I wasn't initially planning on making this video or talking about this. I hope it gets some views. It's something that happened to me this morning. It doesn't have anything to do with a movie star or politician or a sports figure or anything like that. But it happened, it's a situation that happened to me this morning, and it has to do with alpha male, beta male, dominant, being submissive, the whole way a man carries himself and portrays himself, okay? And it's, like I said, it's something that happened to me this morning, and, I thought about it for the rest of my walk. I go on like a 4-mile walk every morning, and it's dark out, so I couldn't see what this person looked like. Here's the thing, this never happened to me until I moved to the city. When I was back in a smaller town, I had never experienced this, and this has happened to me three times in the last 2 years since I've been living in the city, and I don't know if it's a city thing or what. Here's another thing. I was reluctant to bring up race, but it's something that I noticed. The first 2 times it happened to me, it was a Hispanic male. And this time I didn't even realize that it was a black man this time. And I didn't even realize it until the person went by me. Like I said, it was dark out. What am I talking about? Okay, this is a situation where, like I said, this happened to me this summer, and I did a video about this. A person was walking towards me, a younger Hispanic guy, and he was smiling, and it looked like he was listening to his headphones. And he was walking, and I was on my bike, and there's construction, so the sidewalk was kind of thin. It was smaller, so I kind of moved over, so there's room for him to go by. Like I said, I was on my bike. I kind of feel like I'm not really supposed to be on the bike and on the sidewalk either, but since there was construction. Anyway, so I move over as he's walking towards me, and I'll be damned, this guy moves over towards me. So I move over a little more, and he moves over again. And now I'm almost falling off the sidewalk. And then I got angry, and then I confronted as he walked by. I was like, yo, I said, what am I, invisible? And I started yelling at him. That was the incident that happened this summer. Okay, this morning, I'm out walking, and there's snow. There's still a lot of snow here, even though it rained today. It rained this morning. There's still quite a bit of snow, and the sidewalks are a little more narrow. There's probably about 5 or 6 feet of area to walk on the sidewalk, and I'm going under the train trestle again, where I've talked about other videos where it's this area, and it's dark. Like I said, it was about 5:36 a.m. this morning, and I look up as I'm walking, minding my own business, and I see a figure walking down the middle of the sidewalk towards me. And he's got what I would say is a walking stick in his hand. Sometimes I carry these, because it's slippery out. I don't know if it's more for self-defense or if it's for walking or what. But I see this figure coming down towards me. It's obviously a male. It's a larger build, and it's about maybe 30, 40 feet away. This person is, and so I'm thinking to myself, there's not enough room here on the sidewalk. And this is where I decide to step off. I step kind of off in the snow a bit, and then I step onto the road. There's no traffic this time of day. Here's the thing. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So, and as this person goes by me, I could see, this person has no intention of giving up any room on the sidewalk. As he closes in towards me, and as I'm stepping off into the road to give him room. He's just, walking with his stick right down the center of the open path, and then I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's one of those deals, it's like, well, I'm not going to move for you, and as he walks by, like I said, I don't know if race plays a role. I don't know if maybe he looks at me as a Caucasian guy. I don't know if things have happened to him in his life before that, made him feel that he had to, assert himself. But this is what, as he walked by, like I said, I have no beef with this guy. I don't know this guy. So as he's walking by, I see him take up the whole sidewalk, but I just go, hey, I go, good morning. I just, I say hi to everybody. And I put my hand, hey, good morning. And this is what kind of made me feel good. Because at first, as he's going by, he didn't say anything. And he's got a scarf over his face. And then he kind of grunted out a morning. Thing to me, like it was like he wasn't planning on saying good morning, but since I said good morning to him, And if, it made me feel good at first because this is how I read the situation. This guy felt the need, that it was almost like a confrontation. Every person that this guy was passing by, that it was a confrontational situation. Like he had to assert his dominance. I'm not going to move off the sidewalk. You move off the sidewalk. But I just kind of take all the air out of the situation by just, stepping off the sidewalk myself, and then not holding a grudge or anything, and just saying, hey, good morning. Like it's no big thing. And I felt good that after that, I got him to say, I actually felt good that I got him to say good morning. Okay, and here's the thing he didn't know. Right up the street, about 200 feet up, I had to cross over to the other side of the street anyway because I was returning books to the library. There's a book drop there. I could return when the library's closed, and I had a couple books in my hand. And so this person probably didn't know that, but I was, the way I saw it, I'm crossing over anyway. So I'm going to have to walk over this snow and then into the street and across the street anyway in about 100 feet. So, I might as well, that was something he didn't know, but, I think I would have done the same thing anyway. And I thought about this after, should I asked myself as a male, and I consider myself dominant a lot of times. I could tell without even trying that I do have a presence. Like when you're tall, like 6'4", and you're a bigger guy, you notice that people notice you. And I try not to make I try not to make that an issue because I've gotten in scraps with guys before that were a foot shorter than me. And these guys gave me the scrap of my life. I've seen like these small, I used to call them farm boys that I get in trouble. I get in arguments or situations with, and these guys could scrap. I never judged anybody on height, so I never made that an issue. I never used my height to influence other people. But as I was walking away, I asked myself, but it just, should I have, asserted my dominance? Should I have been an alpha male? Should I have walked towards him just because, just because, like two rams, and what would have happened then? I don't know. But this is what I thought to myself, what is that? What am I doing if I do that? I'm putting on a show. That's what it is, really. It's I want this guy to believe that I'm dominant. To me, it's you're putting on airs. Every other guy you see, you're thinking, geez, how does this guy see me? And I don't want to get caught up in that. I think if you're self-confident, that's just not something that I have on my mind. That's not something I need on my mind. What it comes down to is, if there was a situation, could I handle myself? Would I be able, and I have no doubt that I could. Okay, so that being said, I don't feel the need to, assert my dominance everywhere I go. To me, that's just, it's overdoing it. To me, it's almost showing a lack of self-confidence. If you have to put on this air, that I'm walking on the sidewalk, you move over for me, you move over. Hey, here, take the sidewalk. It means nothing to me. Just because I could take up a sidewalk doesn't make me a tough guy. It doesn't mean squat, really, when you get down to it. Here, go ahead, walk by me. But, if the chips were down, if something were to occur, I'm confident that I could hold my own, that I wouldn't do what needs to be done. Not something that I'd want to do, but if the situation arose and I needed to protect myself or stand my ground, I have no doubt that I could. So what's the point? Why do I need to do this? But then you have to ask yourself, well, if I be the submissive, is that going to make that situation more likely? In other words, if I take a step off the side, I know I'm overthinking this. If I take a step off the sidewalk and appear to be submissive, will it open up a door to some people thinking that they could push me a little further? And again, I have to tell them, I look at myself, and if that's the case, I'll take care of it. I'll deal with it. I'm not going to live my life worrying about what every single male thinks of me, how I appear to every single other male. When it comes down to it, when the chips, if the chips are down and I need to do something, I know I could do it. And I think that's all that matters. As in a way, it's almost better, because then people might underestimate you. And being underestimated, like I was saying, I never underestimate somebody a foot shorter than me. I would never, that'd be the biggest mistake of my life. One last thing, I wasn't planning on telling you guys this, but I want to share it with you. If you guys have ever seen those punching bags that measure how many pounds per square inch, you punch, like they're in amusement parks sometimes, the bag comes down, you put $1 in, the bag comes down, and you punch it, and it goes up to 300 pounds per square inch usually. And I have very long arms, and I over the years I've learned how to punch from my shoulder and drive straight through, using my weight and everything, and punching through what picturing what I'm punching through what I want to hit. And I've considered myself good at that. And I used to get about 220 or 240. All right. And I saw this guy come up after me about 30 years ago. I was in my 20s, and I saw him come up to the bag after I had used it. And he was what I call a smaller farm boy. Our, overalls, chaw. There's some farms around here in Connecticut, and he's about 5'6", maybe 5. I'm almost a foot taller than him. And he doesn't make a big show of it. He doesn't shadow dance or anything. He just puts the dollar in, the bag comes down, and he just clocks that bag. And I'll be damned, that thing went all the way around to 300. This guy, so right there and then, that's something I'll never forget, because that's a punch you do not want to get hit with if you can avoid it. So that's one of the things I always remembered. Height doesn't mean everything. You can use it to influence people if you need to, but it's a double-edged sword, because people also pick you out in a crowd to, somebody that's looking for somebody to mess with. A lot of times I end up being that guy just because I stick out, because I'm tall. But you never use more than you actually have. Never put on airs, I guess. That's my point, And if you have self-confidence, you have everything. And there's no need to be dominant on a sidewalk. I think it's kind of silly when you get down to it. Let me know what you think. That's why I'm making this video. Let me know what you think. If a guy was coming towards you, your guy's coming towards you, and he's not going to move, what are you going to do? You gonna step off the sidewalk, or are you going to walk right into him? Or you gonna start? You gonna ask him if he's got a problem? Hey, you got a problem? Let me know. Have a good Wednesday.